Hello and welcome to Fireside Chat with Dr. Desai. I'm your host, Hash Patel. Today we're lucky enough to have the well-renowned cardiologist, Dr. Kirit Desai from Houston, Texas. Today he'll be giving us tips and information on the coronavirus. Hello and welcome to Fireside Chat with Dr. Kirit Desai. I am your host, Hash Patel. Hello, Dr. Desai. How are you doing? Oh, that's right. See you right there. Is this okay? We're allowed to?
Perfect.
Okay.
You should not shake hand.
No.
That's the portal of entry when you touch your nose and eyes.
There you go. So we're starting off right there. How about I back up for a second? Can you explain to us what exactly is COVID-19?
By the way, Hash, thank you very much for giving me such a great opportunity
Thank you, sir. I'm honored.
to talk about such an important topic nowadays. COVID-19 stands for corona, VI for virus, D for disease, 19 is 2019. What it means, corona viral disease 2019. What a corona means, crown. Just like my name Kirit
Yes.
means in Sanskrit means crown too.
All right.
So when you look under the microscope, they look like a crowned structure. That's why ancient Greek name is corona.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Corona is a viral particles. They are the smallest microscopic parasitic organism that thrives in the host cells. This is viral syndrome that affects most likely the upper respiratory, in other words, the throat, larynx, nose, and the eyes including. Basically, viruses are called, we have a lot of viruses basically, like influenza, flu viruses,
Yes.
common cold, which is rhinoviruses, allergic rhinitis, which is not a viruses, but it causes a similar reaction by the small particles of pollens.
Okay.
So these viruses affects the affinity to the upper respiratory tract, and that causes the signs and symptoms. Coronavirus most likely originated in Wuhan, China, and transmitted from the bats. The people who handle the bats has a transmitted a disease from animal to human. They became carrier, they went home, and then transmitted to the other people, and that's how the disease became so progressive and infectious.
So if I'm correct, I've heard that these coronaviruses are only in animals. So if humans don't come into contact with them.
Correct.
Okay.
These are the viruses usually are in animals. Coronavirus originated from bats. The people who was handling the bats became the transmission to the human being.
I understand now. Thank you.
That's how it started, the coronavirus disease.
Okay. And see, this is, I think, what maybe some of our audience and myself were confused. The signs are very similar to flu and they're very hard to track. So what are the signs and symptoms of the coronavirus?
The usual, as I said before, disease affects the upper respiratory system initially. So basically you get sore throat, you get dry cough, you get very fatigued and tired. Lately they say sudden loss of taste and smell. These symptoms of coronaviruses too. The really important thing is the fever and difficulty in breathing. In coronaviruses, when it becomes syndrome, you become high grade fever, which is usually don't see in other viral syndrome. You also get shortness of breath because they causes the pneumonia in the lungs, and that causes the symptoms which is usually different than other viral syndrome.
Okay.
As we know, the flu is very common. Usually in United States every year there are 200,000 people admitted in the hospital, and about 40 to 60,000 people die annually every year due to the flu.
Yeah.
But the corona is very highly infectious organism, and it can only one person can affect three people can multiply, and it becomes so rapid infectious.
It grows fast and exponentially, so yeah. So actually, yeah, I was going to ask you as a follow-up. How does the C19 spread?
Usually, the coronavirus, as I said, is a respiratory virus. So the most common way to spread is a sneeze. People who has the viruses cough on you or sneeze on you, and these viruses are respiratory droplets. They transmit to the other person host in the mouth or nose. 99% this is the way it spreads. That's why we call about close contact. In other words, it's usually transmit about 6 feet. Unless you sneeze very hard, then it may be more than that.
Yeah.
But usually the 6 feet, that's why we say social contact, 6 feet.
Okay.
Very rarely it transmits through respiratory droplets on the surfaces. The droplets usually when they are in the air, they drop very fast and they do not survive more than half an hour to 2 hours.
Does temperature have anything effect on that?
These are the viruses usually in a cold time. So, but yes, the temperature does make a difference in survival. They do not survive in humid nature or hot temperature.
Okay.
That's basically what it is.
That's good to know.
Now, on the surface, when you touch the surface and then you rub your nose or eyes or mouth, then you can transmit these things. Usually they do not survive on a food or in a hot temperature or food container or in a water also. They do not survive.
Okay, so hence that's why we're saying wash everything.
That's the whole idea of washing, because if you transmit through the hands and then you rub your nose or eyes, you got it.
Okay. So what are some ways that we can protect ourselves?
The best way to protect is stay away from the people that are known, as cases of corona. People who have traveled from out of the country where the disease is very, prevalent. You also wear mask if you cannot avoid a close contact.
Yes.
In other words, if you have to go to grocery store, where you go, there are people you cannot avoid a close contact. You do not have to wear the hand gloves or the mask, on routinely.
Okay.
Unless, as I said, you cannot avoid the contact. You should definitely do not think about N95.
Well, why is that? I've heard those are the best ones.
N95, what it means is it protects you 95%.
Oh, okay.
But that is only kept for the people who are really, really like a health care people who are very close contact with a COVID.
High traffic.
Right? You are in a high risk, disease or factors.
That makes sense. And what about the gloves? Now, in the beginning, we were all wearing gloves, and then they said that's a bad idea.
The gloves is definitely not a good idea. The reason is, as I said, 99% of the most transmitted through cough or sneeze, not by touching.
Okay.
But you have to be careful, definitely, by where you touch and everything. So that's where the washing comes in.
Okay.
Because yes, you can transmit the coronaviruses by touching and rubbing nose. So it's very important about the hygiene and washing your hands.
Okay. Also, one thing I thought about, what about people that can't play sports together? What about sweat? Does that transfer any of this?
The sweating does not transfer the coronaviruses.
Okay.
No.
That's good to know. Okay. Also, and I know there's a lot of misinformation out there. People are telling each other, everyone thinks they're Dr. Desai, you're not. If you didn't go to med school, please let the experts tell you. What are some of the myths about this virus and how it's spread, and whatever you can tell us?
I think the most important thing is that the common practical thing is everybody is locked down, they are at home. So the best thing is go for a walk. Walking is definitely safest thing as long as you keep social distance, because you do not, as I said before, it's a respiratory droplet, do not survive in the air more than 1.5 hours. So you are safe and you should go for a walk, number one.
Now, what if I'm walking behind you 6 feet and you cough or sneeze? Am I a danger, or should be walking side by side?
As I said before, sneezing and coughing, if you keep distance 6 feet, you are safe. Okay. Number two, food. Food does not transmit the disease. So go for ordering the food and everything. What you should prepare, what you should do is when the container comes in, wipe them out, wipe your hands, and you are safe.
Okay.
The third thing is if you have an emergency repair, go for it. But be careful that you do a contract and everything outside the home. Make sure the person doesn't have any fever or symptoms or coughing. And the most important thing, after he left, wash it all,
Wipe
clean up,
everything down.
wipe it down. Most likely the knob and doors
Yes.
or things. And if you do not have to get this thing done, wait.
Yes.
That's the most important thing.
That's true. And I believe we had a question from one of our audience members.
Yeah, if you go outside walking and when you come back, do you have to throw away that mask, and do you have to take a shower and take your clothes in the laundry?
Great question. First of all, you do not have to wear the mask when you go out. Number two, you do not have to throw out your clothes and put in laundry, but you should wash your hand and face thoroughly. Okay. As I said before, they do not transmit from your clothes or the air. Wash your hands. Yes, you should change your clothes, no question about it. But walking is the safest thing and the best thing right now because of lockdown. Get exercise.
Thank you very much for that. Also, I wanted to ask, and this is something that I've heard a lot, and it's kind of stuck in my head. What if someone in your house, let's say they're positive with the COVID-19, the AC, does that not recirculate that?
Excellent. If somebody has a COVID positive, AC will not circulate your respiratory droplets. No. The reason is because they do not survive in air for a longer time. So we don't know too much details about these viruses because they are something new. But as so far it's not documented that AC can circulate your viruses.
Okay, good. That's good to know. And also, there's been a lot of speculation about this as well. The pneumonia vaccination, does that help or?
The COVID-19, the most drastic complication is pneumonia. But the pneumonia is not protected by pneumonia vaccine because you are not covered by the viral vaccine.
Yeah.
It's usually bacterial vaccine.
Okay.
So you are not protected by the pneumonia vaccine for the COVID-19 pneumonia.
So that would be a completely different strain.
That's a different organisms.
Yeah.
Unless it's complicated by the bacterial infection.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you can tell us about this that we should be aware that we're maybe not aware of yet?
I think the best thing is that yes, coronavirus is definitely very dangerous and infectious.
Yes.
But I think as long as you follow certain guidelines, you should live your life normally. Follow hygiene, follow social distance, follow quarantine if you are coming from out of country. If you have a high fever, shortness of breath, talk to your doctor. Otherwise, I am hopeful that this appears that it's going away.
Hopefully. Are there any more questions from the audience?
Yeah, there are some people don't believe it's not that dangerous. Can you tell us, is it dangerous or is it not dangerous?
Coronavirus is definitely absolutely dangerous. As I said before, we do not know too much about this virus. Number two, they are highly infectious. Number three, there is no real treatment for coronaviruses. All we do is supportive treatment. So in other words, yes, considering all these factors, coronavirus is very dangerous and we should take it very, very, seriously.
Sorry, we have another question here.
Does coronavirus affect pregnancy?
It is so far, we have seen that first of all, the children are very well protected for some reason. It doesn't cause the coronaviruses, in children most likely. Yes, they can be asymptomatic carrier. The same thing with the pregnancy. So far, we think it doesn't affect the pregnancy at all, but we don't have any data to back it up. As I said, this is something new. So, no, answer is no.
And that's the scary thing, right, is we don't really know. So if it's not something important, take his advice, just don't do it.
Absolutely right.
Right. Well, thank you so much for helping us out here with this
It was
information.
a pleasure, and I really appreciate.
Thank you for our audience, and please stay tuned for more Fireside Chat with Dr. Desai. Upcoming health tips will be coming to you during this time. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you very much.